Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Nelson. Here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from Rome. Pope Francis made a Sunday visit to a local Roman parish over the weekend. During his visit, the Pope met with children and teens, celebrated Mass, and met with the elderly of the parish. Rome Report says more on the Pope's visit.
The Holy Father entered the parish buildings, where he greeted the sick and elderly, such as this couple who have been married for 60 years. The Pope told the elderly they are the arms of the Church and that they shouldn't lose contact with young people because their wisdom is needed. During Mass at San Gelasio, Pope Francis spoke of the transfiguration of the Lord. He reminded that Christ wanted the apostles to see it in all of its glory so they wouldn't lose hope following the Passion.
Ma è questo il messaggio. Sempre ci prepara, ci dà la forza per andare nei momenti di prova e vincerli con la forza di Lui. Gesù non ci lascia soli nelle prove della vita, sempre ci prepara.
Pope Francis also suggested keeping in mind that life's difficulties, whether great or little, hold an important message that each person must discover.
Nella vita quotidiana forse avremo problemi o avremo da risolvere tante cose. Farci questa domanda: cosa mi dice Gesù oggi? E cercare di ascoltare la voce di Gesù, l'ispirazione da dentro. E così seguiamo il consiglio del Padre: questo è il figlio mio, l'amato, ascoltatelo.
This parish has especially experienced pain. 2 years ago, a Sunday school child named Julia died during an earthquake and saved her sister's life by covering her.
More news from Rome. On February 24th, the Colosseum in Rome was lit in red as a reminder and prayer for the thousands of Christians being persecuted for their faith around the world. Before the red lights were turned on, the family of Asia Bibi, a Christian woman sentenced to death under Pakistan's anti-blasphemy laws, and Rebecca Beatrice, a Nigerian Christian who was held in captivity for 2 years by Boko Haram terrorists, told their stories. The event, sponsored by Aid to the Church in Need, was held in conjunction with similar events at several churches in Syria and Iraq, including the St. Elijah Maronite Cathedral in Aleppo and the Church of St. Paul in Mosul. In news from the Vatican, after praying the Sunday Angelus with people gathered in St. Peter's Square, Pope Francis focused his attention on the ongoing war in Syria, calling for an end to the fighting. The Pope said that hospitals have been hit and people can't get anything to eat. All of this, he said, is inhumane.
Il Vangelo di oggi.
As February was one of the most devastating months in the 7-year Syrian conflict, Pope Francis called for an end to the violence during his Angelus prayer.
Fratelli e sorelle, tutto questo è disumano. Non si può combattere il male con altro male, e la guerra è un male. Pertanto rivolgo il mio appello accorato perché cessi subito la violenza, sia dato accesso agli aiuti umanitari, cibo e medicine, e siano evacuati i feriti e i malati.
On the second Sunday of Lent, the Pope reflected on the significance of the Transfiguration, which he said helps Christ's followers grasp the essence of his Passion.
Questo evento della trasfigurazione permette così ai discepoli di affrontare la passione di Gesù in modo positivo, senza essere travolti.
Pope Francis concluded by urging Catholics to be more attentive to the voice of God through contemplation and prayer during the Lenten season. More than 15,000 faithful were present in St. Peter's Square.
Although the UN Security Council voted unanimously February 24th for a 30-day ceasefire in Syria, government forces continued their week-long offensive against the rebel-held suburb of Ghouta. Humanitarian groups reported more than a dozen civilians were hospitalized for symptoms suspected to be associated with a chlorine gas attack. At least 500 people had been killed in the fighting in the week before the Pope spoke. In news from around the country, the doors of the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem have been closed in protest against recent moves by the Jerusalem municipality to impose property taxes on church property, such as hotels and convention centers, not used for worship purposes. The proposal to levy taxes on some properties would run contrary to the unofficial historical tax-exempt status the churches have enjoyed for centuries. In addition, the heads of the Christian churches said they oppose a bill in the Israeli parliament that would limit the ability to sell church-owned land to private owners. It's not clear when the church is to reopen. Church leaders closed the church at noon this past Sunday. And finally in the news, a rare snowstorm has hit Rome, bringing the city to a standstill and giving its residents the chance to play and walk in the snow and enjoy something that has not happened in a few years.
Images of snow and children making snowmen are usually associated with Christmas. Nevertheless, the city of Rome awoke covered in a large white blanket just days before the beginning of March. An unexpected cold front produced images like these. The last time it snowed in Rome was 6 years ago. That's why both tourists and natives headed into the streets to enjoy this special occasion.
È stato meraviglioso, una bella emozione.
It was wonderful, a very beautiful feeling. It's an extraordinary occurrence because it never snows here.
The dome covered in snow has a special effect. It's even more beautiful and fascinating. Upon getting up in the morning, some discovered it was impossible to take the car to work, but still decided to seize the day. I'm a photographer and I couldn't miss this opportunity, which is more unique than rare. Now I'll go to the Colosseum and buy all of the city's emblematic places to remember this day.
About 2 to as much as 6 inches of snow fell in some areas around Rome. Well, that's all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kim Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week. Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.